Welcome back to My Creative Chronic Life, and today we are back with another episode from the Analogue Hour. And today I'm bringing something completely new to the channel. As you can see here, we have some goodies to share that I've purchased. But before we get started, I want to do and talk a little bit about it. Now, I have been having a lot of bed rest throughout my procedures over the last couple of months, and I have tried to do hobbies depending on the strength that I have and mobility aspect of it all. And I've concluded that unless I'm watching TV or have like a Kindle up already, which is on a stand in my bed, there's not really much I can do hobby wise in bed. So sometimes I'm not able to sit properly or for long periods of time due to my kind of nerve damage and things like that. So what I find is that then I'm either just being turned from one side to the other, and I'm just watching a lot more TV. And there's only so much TV you can watch, and only so many shows you can watch, within a day. And it pretty much got me thinking about trying to do other hobbies whilst I'm sat in bed, which don't necessarily need my husband getting everything that I need for me, or like, oh, I need this sticker, I need this pair of scissors, I need these tweezers. I've tried doing obviously planning in bed with stickers, I've tried drawing, I've tried just decorating, and I just can't seem to find that quite balance whilst I'm in bed. And especially depending on kind of what mobility issue I have going on in that particular time. I've tried knitting, I've tried colouring, I've tried just generally just being chill, and I've not really had a lot of kind of positive situations where I'm able to spend that time and relax. So if you've been following my channel, I am waiting for surgery. I have been unwell for quite a while, and that means recovery time is going to be much longer for me. And at the moment, a lot of the time I'm on bed rest, and generally my life is quite simple and calm. And what that means is I need to have something A, that I can take on the go with me, but B, I can also do whilst I'm laying in bed, whether I'm turned on one side or the other. So I was just watching TikTok and I came across needlepointing. If you're aware and you're from the US, you probably already heard of it. For us here in the UK, I haven't heard of it, but to me it looks very intriguing. It's called Needlepoint, and basically I have done some research, and a couple of lovely ladies have answered some questions. And what it's about is basically you use embroidery thread, a needle and a canvas, and you create whatever background you want. So most of these needlepoint canvases are on like a plastic mesh, and they are basically painted on the design or the decoration. So for example, if you wanted a bow, it would already be on the canvas, and then all you would do is find the matching thread and you would do different variations of stitches. If you're new to kind of embroidery and the kind of stitching world, then you probably won't know what a lot of this means, but I wanted to come on and do a video just sharing what I'm learning as we go through this process together. So I have done embroidery in the past and I enjoy it, and that's fine, but I find with embroidery I really need to focus and I need to watch how my stitches are. So the more I looked at needlepoint and the more I looked at it, the more I was like, okay, this is something that I could do. I have a canvas that's already printed for me. I don't need to think about colors. I can just go match what I need, and I can sit in bed, whether I'm sitting up, whether I'm turning right or left, and I can do a couple of stitches. So I started to look for needlepoint here in the UK. We don't have it, but what we do have is something called cross stitch. I did cross stitch when I was younger, and again I really enjoyed it, but I felt like the artwork and the things weren't modern. You could find like a robin, or Christmas time was quite fun, but reality is they're not as fun as what the US has in terms of their needlepoint. There's a shop called Penny Ling, and there's a couple of other shops as well, and it's absolutely stunning. It really baffles me why somebody is designing these beautiful artwork, and here in the UK we don't have any. So I decided to go online and see if I could find a kit, and unfortunately the kit is extremely expensive to even get shipped over in the UK. There's nothing here in the UK that I found. I found a cross stitch shop, a Caterpillar something or the other, and I liked that, but it was almost like £50 worth, I think, give or take, just for like cross stitch, and it was like a little shop, which is fine. I understand you get everything you need, including the thread, and I realize thread is expensive and things, but I wanted to do it on a budget, because if you're like me and you have more than one hobby and your hobbies vary depending on your health and what's going on, I feel like you want to keep things as cost effective as possible. So I decided that I was going to create my own version of a kind of hybrid of the cross stitch slash needlepoint. Cross stitch is basically where you cross thread over, and the needlepoint is where you use different types of patterns. So we've got like basket weave, back stitch. These are just a couple of them that I've used in the past, but I've kind of fallen out of practice with them. So I decided I wanted to pop online, and a lot of the needlepoint canvases have a wooden canvas. So usually you find like a square piece. It's got some sort of masking tape around it, and then you have a square wooden, it looks a bit like this, and you attach your canvas to that. So we use these hoops here in the UK, but in America I think they use the little wooden hoops which they use with a mallet and around the little studs, and then that keeps their canvas in place. And then what that also means is that they're able to stitch kind of on the go. I like that, but I couldn't seem to find anything here in the UK. So instead I came across these square pin hoops. I have round pin hoops, I have lots of wooden ones in various sizes, but I like the idea of that version of a canvas. So I picked these up from Amazon. I got 3 in a pack. I can't recall currently what I spent on them, but I will let you know. I think to the best of my knowledge it was under £10, but I'll pop the amount up on the screen for you. And I got 3 sizes, and they're almost like square-ish, and basically you just take them apart. You've got a little bit here which you can tighten, and they seemed really good quality to me. They were really good reviews. So these were 3 in a pack. Then they also came with a pack of Regal needles, Gold Eye Millen 3.9, and I did research that for needlepoint you need a blunt needle, like a tapestry needle. So these will go probably in my embroidery stash, possibly sewing stash, so that was a nice touch as well. So then came, well, what canvas do I want to use, because the plastic canvas looks good, but at the same time I felt like in my mind, like in the US, needlepoint, they turn them into little ornaments and that they can add to their Christmas trees, on their handbags, or whereas here in the UK, if you have cross stitch, you normally put it on a frame and you hang it up, pretty much, as far as I'm aware. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like that's probably one of the versions that I'm aware of cross stitch. So I decided that I wanted to, after some research, pick up some Aida cloth, and this is the Aida cloth. I have already taken a piece off of it. I wanted to just try some different cross stitches on there. And I know this was £3.33, and this is the 14 count. Now somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but a 14 count is how many little teeny tiny squares you get per inch. So if you measured an inch, you would get 14 squares, teeny tiny ones, which you would use to cross stitch in between. But also if you had an 11 count or an 18 count, that would then make the holes larger or smaller. So that's something I found, and I found that after some research it said the 14 Aida count was definitely much more better, because you can see what you're working on, the holes are still visible, and it's not something that's going to feel overwhelming. So that's what I picked up as well. and this is the Ada brand. Then tapestry needles, I picked up these, and it's the DMC number 24, and it's the tapestry needles, and you get 6. And these needles are blunt at the end, so they're not sharp like a sewing needle is, because when you're piercing through your work, this canvas, you don't necessarily want to pierce large holes in them, so it's blunt for that reason. So that's one thing I picked up as well. And then I saw the needle minders as well. So it's magnetics, which when you're working and you finish one of your colors, for example, you can have more than one needle on the go, or if you just finish for the day, you can add this here. So it pretty much, let's see if I can twist that over. So that will stick now. So you add your needle there and you're good to go. So you're not kind of having loose needles hanging off. And again, that's something I picked up from Amazon. It did come in a cute little package, and I'll add where I got it from, what the shop was. So if you are thinking about them, there were various different colours, and I think this was under £10 as well. Now I already have a kind of container that looks like this, but it's not from DMC. I bought it many years ago when I started embroidery, but I needed another one because my mum gave me lots of thread, not generically DMC thread, but just general thread. But I'm going to use that because it's not something that I definitely need DMC thread for. I've heard it's beautiful, and I am thinking about picking up a couple of DMC threads. So if I decide I want to just only do DMC, then I will kind of outsource and, you know, destash my threads that I have available. But I needed another container because I have a complete and utter bag full of new colours that my mum has given me. So I've wrapped them all up, I've added them onto these little things, and I'm good to go. So this box was, I think, £8, correct? I'll have to put it up on the screen, but to the best of my knowledge, £8. And all it is it's just storage for you to be able to add your threads, as you can see here on the picture. And it already comes with these cardboard cards, which I won't be using. I don't like them. I like the version that are plastic. I just feel like it's a bit better. You have a little space here to add all your threads in, and I think, no, these don't come apart. The old ones that I have do. So that's also something that I have picked up. I'll show you my old embroidery one, even though it's a little bit messy. So this is mine that I use for embroidery, and you can move the different slots, and I've got the little cards that go between it. To me, I just tried to go in as color coordinated as I could. Now that I have more, I might separate them into a bigger color format, but for the time being, because this is different thread that I picked up from Amazon many years ago, and the thread that my mum's given me is a completely different brand too. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I will be able to, it probably will be the same. If there's a big distinction, then I'll leave them separate, but if not, I will make sure that I'll just color coordinate them to the best of my knowledge. Now, DMC thread is usually the thread that people will use, which is a better quality. For one skein, it's like $2.99. Now, I've never tried that, so I can't speak of it. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, to be able to get to Hobbycraft in the upcoming weeks. I will pick up a couple of them up, and if I do, I will come back and do a comparison. So just in the side here, I've got like leftover thread. There was some mesh that I was trying out. In fact, I could actually throw that away. Yeah, you can see here what I was trying to create, a little flower swatch to see what that would look like. This is many years old. I've still got thread. No, I haven't. And then we've got little cutters, which are perfect for when you're embroidery. We have some needles. We've got a needle threader, and then these I picked up from a different shop, which is just to add your colors on. So I would probably use these if, for example, I'm going somewhere and I know that I only need 6 different colors for the current project I'm working on. Then I would just take them on this rather than taking these big ones off, because these have all got holes in them. Let's see, you could actually add a keyring to them, which is fine. I was using this, let's put that the right way. And then we've got a tape measure, which is always important. So that is kind of everything in terms of what I've currently got. I do have round hoops and I do have all of these things. So next, the plan is, I'll show you what the next plan is. My thread that I painstakingly sat through a number of nights, taking off of the long thread and adding it to these little thread bobbins. We have another eye catcher, and these are the ones I picked up from Amazon. They were a pack of 200, which I've just added into a Ziploc bag. And yes, they are different, but it is what it is. I might change them over later. That's also something that I purchased, but I couldn't wait to use them, so I decided to just put them in the Ziploc bag. And then another eye catcher which we'll add in. So I'm just going to pop this to the side now. Take this out. Okay. And then these are all the current threads that I've had, or my mum gave me, and me and my husband sat each night and we decided to add all the threads on. So I think what I'm going to do is, for this episode, is whilst we are chit-chatting, we can organise them, hopefully into some form of colour coordinated situation. My hopes and my ideas moving forward for this entire thing is probably to design some of my own version-ish of whatever I feel like creating. I know that sounds probably a little bit blunt. So because we have no sort of needlepoint canvases here, we do have cross stitch available, which isn't always printed on the canvas. And also it's not as modern. I don't know what it is. I understand that having some beautiful cottage or home is lovely, but I don't have a cottage, so to me it doesn't make sense. And I like the way that the needlepoint artwork is. So for example, you've got a bow, you've got something that's sentimental. You know, some people make it fun with having like sardines or a teddy bear, or like you've got Christmas stockings. But in the UK, I can't find anything like that. There's nothing that I can find on Amazon or anywhere else. You can purchase printable PDFs, which then mean that you have to have their specifications of sizing and ADA, and it's something from like the beginning aspect of it. I feel like that my mind would probably prefer not to waste a lot of money and not to spend a lot of money, but I feel like it means that it's forcing me to spend more money, and I don't want to. So instead, what I'm doing is, to saving the cost, I'm going to design my own artwork on Procreate. I've got Procreate, it's a drawing app, and with that drawing app I am going to design something. It could be like a little keyring that I turn into one of them cute little ornaments, or it could be something a little bit different. Whatever it is, I haven't quite decided. My niece's birthday is coming up, so I might probably design or decorate something for that. So I was thinking that I could do that. So the way I figured it out is, there's an app called Stitchly, and on that app in Stitchly, let's not do yellows yet. I mean, what's going to come after? Let's just pop yellow here for now. And I'm not sure if this is the right way to go. Okay, let's try that. There's an app called Stitchly where you can import your own images. Could be a family photo, could be of your dog or whatnot, and then it changes it into stitches, so that then you can print it out and mark it to your size canvas, and then you're able to pretty much like then create your own artwork. So that's what I've been trying to do. Obviously the app isn't free, you have to pay for it, but you can do it on kind of like the simpler version, which I unfortunately decided that I always find if apps cost something, that I'm not going to waste time or energy just doing it. I'm just going to download what I can download, and that's it. These are actually grey in hindsight, so maybe I'll put black with the grey. This is more cream and white. Now that I've got the big light on, I can actually see more, whereas before I couldn't quite see. Okay, so I actually thought I was filming and I was talking loads, and I looked up and I realised the camera had stopped, so I'm a little bit way through what I'm doing. I think what I was saying was originally was that I'm just going to sort this out, but I was talking about the DMC thread, and I feel like with the DMC thread it's a bit difficult because I've never used it before, but I've heard wonderful things about it. But I'm also very skeptical in wanting to use a thread that costs quite a lot of money. I mean, $2.99. If you've got a project that's got 2 colours in, then that's pretty much, you know, £6 just with that, without buying any of the other bits that you might need. So for being cost effective, I do feel like that there's probably a cheaper solution, but again, I don't know. So what I was saying was that I'm going to take a trip to Hobbycraft, because Hobbycraft seems to be realistically the only place that I could actually find what I could need. I could have done an order, but then I didn't want to just guess something and then not be able to physically go in and see what I need. So I will be taking a trip to go to Hobbycraft and have a look and possibly pick up some bits that I might need. But I feel like I will also add in a couple of DMC threads, and just so that we can come back and compare. I feel like that's a good way, isn't it? Maybe I'll design a project that only uses DMC thread and come back and do like a colour along with me type thing, but with the cross stitch embroidery. Now I know a lot of the cross stitch that I've seen is just basic cross stitch, but I want to do a hybrid of them in my patterns, and maybe, who knows, I might get to a point where I'm good enough and I might put them down for like digital download or something like that, because I feel like there's not enough here in the UK. I mean, unless I'm wrong, but I feel like definitely without a doubt that I feel like I don't have what I need here, and I want to be able to make it accessible for everybody, because just like knitting isn't for example, you know, people of a certain niche or a certain age, which when we were younger, to be honest, I used to think that knitting was for old people, and now that I'm older I realise that that's not actually the case. I do like to add in a couple of extra of these just in case I might need them, and I think what I'll do is add them here at the back for elderly people, but of course it's not. And I think cross stitch also, or slash needle pointing tapestry, I feel like is mostly not a modern hobby, but now that with all of the kind of needlepoint in the US, and I feel like it should start to trickle over here in the UK, and I've got friends that cross stitch and they're absolutely beautiful. So I feel like it would be great to be able to create some designs that are a bit more modern, a bit more for the younger generation, and that can be a hybrid of cross stitch plus learning other stitches. I did want to mention as well that I downloaded, if you've got Kindle Unlimited, I downloaded a Kindle book. It was on actually Needlepoint. I'm just going to download it, see if it lets me load it up. It's called Needlepoint, a modern directory of 100 creative stitches, techniques for tapestry and embroidery by Emma Homant. And this was definitely a good read, and I know you can get it in a physical book, and then she does needlepoint cards as well. So if you want to learn stitches via the card, that would be something that's really good. I've actually I'm a good couple of chapters into this, and it's really intriguing, like learning what needlepoint is, doing that. But it's available for free on Kindle Unlimited, which you can download it, and I think it's a great tool, and I'm really pleased that it's actually available. It's available to learn what needlepoint is, cross stitch, and be able to have a hybrid of what you need. And for me specifically, I don't think I'm going to keep this. This would be extremely annoying. But then also, oh, are these all the DMC threads? Possibly. Okay, I'm going to hold on to this then. Let's hold on to this, because that's probably a better version, and I feel like I would be doing a hybrid of all of that. So I'm going to work behind the scenes. I'm going to go into Hobbycraft when I'm available and I'm able to, and then I'm hoping to come back on and share the journey of doing this together. Like I said, I did take some off just to see what the stitches look like, if it felt good or not. But for me, holding a 6-strand thread through this 14-point Ada was not good at all. You couldn't see the crosses. You could see the single stitches, which were really nice and like really crisp, but in the end I felt like a 2-strand was better. So this is where I really want to see what the DMC thread is like, to have a good comparison of it all, because if I've got a good comparison, then I know, right, okay, these threads are no good, and I can just keep them for my embroidery and then build up my own DMC strass just for this purpose. So that's something that I want to do. Now this here is a very old bag, and I just wanted to share. Oh, I have some more here too. So this is kind of what I used to keep them on before. A little bit messy, but here we are. This is because I used to keep on the go when I used to go out and whatnot, and then I kind of felt bored, did this. So this is like a canvas bag that I picked up from embroidery something or the other, and I started working on the stitches, and then I realized that I didn't like the way it looked in terms of this thread, because I felt like it just was twisting on me and didn't have the stitches that looked better. So I decided to go back out and then redo the stitches, which have come out much better. So this is also something that I want to finish at some point, and it is a beautiful canvas bag, and I'm really looking forward to actually getting it finished once and for all. These are the colours that I picked up, but I think I might put these back in here. Have a little pair of scissors which I'll just pop in there now, because I feel like I'm not ready to do and continue on with this project. So this is everything that I've got planned for this particular new project. Is going to be needlepoint / cross stitch hybrid, and I want to take you on the journey of possibly starting a brand new hobby. If you have any particular questions, let me know in the comment box below, but of course you can always reach out to me across my social media. This looks super cute now, doesn't it? I like how that looks, it's so pretty. So that is our Ada, and then we have our hoops, and that's pretty much all you need. And if you are going to start off fresh and you don't have any of these, then I feel like just having a couple of colours, because you could do a bow just with 2 colours, you could do your name and a background in 3 colours. So if this is something that you are wanting to start, I hope I've given you enough information to start, and I will come back with one of my designs and show how I'm using it, and maybe learn the stitches together and go through everything together series by series. But this is definitely a project that I wanted to do whilst I'm in rest and recovery, something simple, not so stressful. So whilst I'm waiting for surgery to happen, I'm kind of working behind the scenes to make sure I've got all of this right. I'll be back soon with, let's call this episode 1, needlepoint cross stitch starting off, and then I'll be back soon with episode 2 with hopefully a hobbycraft haul and maybe a good stitch along. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Well, thank you so much for watching, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do to receive notifications of upcoming videos. And of course, I share my videos Monday, Thursday and Saturday, usually around 10 AM. And of course, you can find all things My Creative Chronic Life on my website at www.mycreativechroniclife.co.uk. I will try my hardest to link down in the description where I specifically got these items from. I don't have threads for you at the moment, but anything else that I do remember, I will let you know that I've mentioned in this video. Obviously, this thread my mom gave me, you can't just find like generic threads, but I'm feeling from my experience of just doing a couple of cross stitches, I feel like that this thread isn't the best. So I will purchase some DMC thread and come back and let you know, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Okie dokie. Until next time, bye bye.